Kuh.
161 The man.
Good.
I manage to lift my body while groaning. My muscles are stiff and it's painful to move. I may have some abnormalities. I rush ya? Race, evil plague dragon. State, paralysis small. LV, 44/75. HP, 98/343. Mepe, 109,236. Damn, I've been paralyzed.
What should I do?
That blonde-haired guy, contrary to his appearance, his strength is monstrous. He seems to be Adofu's companion, and if I were to kill him it will be impossible to negotiate with Adofu. However, it is not an opponent I can pull my punches on, even though his intentions are suspicious. Even if I was caught in a surprise attack, it was amusing that it happened while he was right in front of me. If I wanted to escape right now I wouldn't be able to grab both the ball rabbit and Nina as they are quite a bit of ways from me. Even if I was able to grab them and run, my opportunity to speak with Adofu would go to waste. If that were to happen, Nina's chances of survival would decline. Well, for now, I'll check the guy's stats. The man gets off the winged horse and shakes his head as he looks at Adofu in disbelief. While he's at it I use a status check on him. Normal skilled status inspection, LV6 information cannot be displayed. Asterisk 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 asterisk. Email protected hashtag email protected hashtag. Email protected dollar. At hashtag $% 78/100. $% caret percent 602/602. Hashtag $$ hashtag 552/552. After such a long time the information cannot be displayed showed up. Everything from stats to skills is warped with strange symbols. That guy is just like that slime after all. There was a somewhat uncomfortable feeling while checking his status. It wasn't because of the lack of information, although that was a little off-putting, but there was some kind of strange atmosphere from the display. Anyway, before thinking too deeply about it, those numbers that I saw. If the arrangement is similar to what I know, then that's a level of 78, with a max HP of 602. All his numbers are far higher than mine. His stats are even higher than that huge centipede I had a hard time against. Will I actually not have to use this fine sword? The man pulls out the sword and places it in his hand as he said so. He has 3 swords on his waist. One of them has a similar color to the equipment of the soldiers that I had met before. It may be something commonly offered in that walled city. Here, Mr. Adofu, give it the final blow. As it is, if you go home without doing anything, you won't be able to proudly face the people, will you? But the dragon doesn't seem to hold any hostility. If he wanted to kill me then I would have already been dead, plus that beast man over there. Well, I'm fine with killing it myself if you're not up to it, so will you do it? No, well, I understand. It's a fact that you won't be quick to kill, isn't that right, Mr. Former Night Chief? When the man said that, I could see Adofu's face getting stiff. When the man saw Adofu's reaction he covered his mouth and his shoulders shook a little. What is he laughing? I don't know what kind of relationship these two have, but anyway, Adofu makes a side glance towards me while the blonde guy doesn't seem to care. I don't know his background, but his social status must be high, as he seems very confident. It may be because his surprise attack was successful that he's rather calm at the moment. That's right, if I don't do something now then this guy will surely finish me off. Let's try to gather as much information as possible while trying not to gather attention. In the meantime, I'll let auto HP recovery heal me while I try to shake off this paralysis. This is a terrible situation, but while I can, I must remain calm and think things through. If at any moment I make a mistake then not only myself, but Nina and the ball rabbit might also be killed. Perhaps I could do something about those garbled letters if I do something about whatever was giving me that strange feeling from earlier. When I first saw the slime, it had LV3 status inspection. He currently has LV6. He could surely use something troublesome. I stare at the man and once again use status check. Normal skilled status inspection, LV6 information cannot be obtained. I intentionally remove parts of the screen that pop up in my mind. I rush ya? Race, Earth Huma. State, normal. LV, 78/100. HP, 602/602. Mepe, 552. ATK, 354. Def, 264 plus 76. Mana, 347. SPD, 325. Equipment. Body, the Water Dragon Robe, B+. LV. Characteristic skill. God's Voice, LV6 Spirit Protection, LV Elf King's Blessing, LV Light Attribute, LV Gyrisha Language, LV6 Sword Genius, LV9 Presence Sense, LV6 Stealth Step, LV7 Resistance Skill. Fall Resistance, LV6 Magic Resistance, LV6 Dark Attribute Resistance, LV7 Illusion Resistance, LV5 Poison Resistance, LV5 Curse Resistance, LV3 Petrification Resistance, LV5 Instant Death Resistance, LV4 Paralysis Resistance, LV3 Normal Skill. Status Inspection, LV Max Shockwave, LV6 10-point Stab, LV5 Skyfall, LV6 Ground Upheaval, LV5 Lunalution, LV7 Summon, LV7 Mirage, LV3 Holy, LV5 High Rest, LV5 Quick, LV4 Power, LV5 Mana Barrier, LV2 Physical Barrier, LV4 Title Skill. The Chosen One, LV Hero, LV5 The Brave, LV7 Cunning, LV9 Evil Path, LV Max Liar, LV8 Foul King, LV9 Calamity, LV3 Laplace Interference Authority, LV3 Insect King Contract Holder, LV. It worked. This guy has a lot of skills. Was that what made me feel that something was wrong? I don't really understand it, but did the slime also have this many? However, things are still not looking up even after seeing this. Looking at it again, I was yet again reminded, if I fight this guy right now I won't win. I'm better of fighting with that centipede, and even then I'm still inferior to it. Besides that, why do you have the same name as me? There's no second name, it's just Irushia. I heard that the name originated from the name of a flower. I wouldn't go as far as making fun of it though, as I also have such a name. Among the people I've met so far there have been no humans with only one name apart from those born of low status, but I don't see him being one. I guess the system here works differently than what I know. How strange. Along with God's Voice there are too many suspicious-looking title skills. Seriously, what is this guy? The man takes his eyes off Adolfo and looks over my way. His eyes turn sharp as he faces his body towards me while clicking his tongue. My, how annoying. This is enough. If the former Night Chief won't do it, then I will. This is bad. He's coming. I still have paralysis. Will I be able to handle it? To begin with, do I flee or fight? Both contain high risks. I just don't know what my course of action should be. Look above you. I suddenly hear telepathic thoughts. Above?
What do you mean? Huh?
The man seemed to have also heard it, and he stopped his feet to look in the air. At that moment the sand scattered by the man's feet as the ball rabbit jumped out. Phew! 5 fireballs appeared around the ball rabbit as it jumped out at the man. This is the ball rabbit's skill light. The man hesitated for a moment before jumping backwards and swatted the fireball with his bare hand. That time I lost sight of the ball rabbit. It seems that it dug a hole and made its way over to the man's feet. Guruea. Hey! Hey! Ball rabbit, what are you doing? This isn't an opponent you can win against. 162 Tale of a Certain Brave Man 5 Side Story. An evil plague dragon doesn't look so great. Since I'd never seen one before I had thought that it might be an A-ranked monster. But it was just AB rank, and to think I worried a little. Since the actual rank of rare monsters are sometimes exaggerated, it's best to approach cautiously until I can check their status. The official ranks of monsters seem to have been decided by the former hero over 500 years ago. As such, the gap between ranks might have changed a bit. The former hero is said to have properly recorded all types of monsters from his time, but there may have been a few he missed. In any case, I did not know if it was B rank or higher, so in my mind it was clearly higher. But who would have thought the sand centipede is more troubling than this fellow? I put in so much work to make Adolfo a decoy, but who would have thought that the two would stop fighting? Even though it possesses God's Voice, well, it doesn't really matter anyway. Although I have heard stories of demon kings possessing such a trait as well, but it's only that, a story. I've never actually seen the real thing. Also, it's annoying that such a small-time dragon has the same name as mine. Having a name means that there is the possibility that it has an owner. Did that slave who's near death give it to him? No, it's hard to imagine that such a troublesome dragon is being controlled by such a thing. If anything, the dragon is carrying around the slave by order of its master. If the owner is around, should I have him cooperate with me? I intended to leave Harani anyway, so why not? Besides, it should be amusing to see Harani get attacked. I won't be blamed for it, as long as its name stays hidden, nobody would be the wiser. Since I think you will be beneficial, I will not use this sword. While I say that, I sheath my holy sword. I'll let Adolfo receive the credit for this one. Since I have already shaved off a good portion of its HP, I will have Adolfo handle the rest and I'll handle the dismantling. I'll take everything that I can from it till there's nothing left. Truthfully, myself alone is enough, as if I would really need the help from a lump of muscle. He seriously believes that I had arranged everything for him to help me. The only way to show it to him is by having him demonstrate for all to see. I'm grateful that he shows so much trust, truly a fool that can't be saved. A fool for not being able to understand the result of his actions and what he has brought upon himself. He should die regretting it. Here, Mr. Adolfo, give it the final blow. As it is, if you go home without doing anything, you won't be able to proudly face the people, will you? Adolfo looks at the dragon sprawled out on the ground and returns his gaze towards me. But the dragon doesn't seem to hold any hostility. If he wanted to kill me, then I would have already been dead, plus that beast man over there. Ah, really so annoying. What the heck is he even saying, this idiot? Would it be better if I just finish him off as well? I don't feel like using any more honorifics on this guy. Any suspicions directed towards me would be meaningless anyway should Adolfo not return to Harani. Well, I'm fine with killing it myself if you're not up to it, so will you do it? I slacked my tone a bit because of what was going through my head. I don't care anymore. No, well, I understand. It's a fact that you won't be quick to kill, isn't that right, Mr. Former Night Chief? I finally said it. Even thought I was trying to be careful not to. Having heard the phrase former Night Chief, Adolfo's face stiffens. His face is so amusing it makes me want to laugh. I cover my mouth and try to manage my laughter. Even though I had told Adolfo that I would have that title lifted. He is probably trying to figure out why I had said that in the first place and is beginning to suspect something. Then, I felt something watching me. Turning my eyes, I noticed the dragon just quietly staring at me. What, are you checking my status? The dragon had surely possessed of status check, as well, so it should be able to see my status as well. So him doing so is only natural, but still, it does not feel good. It is probably trying to come up with a countermeasure for my skills, which I do not mind, but I don't feel comfortable with it viewing my titles. My, how annoying. This is enough. If the former Night Chief won't do it, then I will. When I glared at it, the dragon slightly trembled. It looks scared. No way I'm being treated as a monster by a monster. Look above you. As I was ready to take a step, some words popped into my head. Is this telepathy? Did that dragon have such a skill? I didn't see it through my skill. This is getting annoying. I'll look to humor you, but after that I'm finishing it. I raise my face and look towards the sky. At that time, the sand at my feet exploded and a small pink monster came out. Phew! It's a peach ball rabbit. Is this the one who has telepathy? Even so, the ball rabbit should be a gentle monster that is often treated as a pet, coupled along with its high crisis perception. Why did it jump out like this? When I think about it, it was beside that evil plague dragon not too long ago, so is it the dragon's companion? Several fireballs float around the peach ball rabbit as it attacks me. I take a step back and slap the flame ball away with my hand. It is only a D rank monster after all. Guruea. When I put my hand on the sword at my waist, the dragon growled somewhat sorrowfully. What, is this really the dragon's companion? It's supposed to be an evil and vicious dragon, yet it acts strange by getting along with other monsters and even picking up slave women. Moreover, who would have thought that he also possessed a name which is synonymous with the brave and titles of heroes like Small Hero and Spirit Relief? That evil plague dragon may be interesting. Let's play with it a little. First of all, I'll kill this peach ball rabbit and see how it reacts. The paralysis should be wearing off by now anyway. The corners of my mouth lift instinctively. I was going to slash the peach ball rabbit with my sword but stopped. I will use my bare hands to kill it. I do not need to use weapons on a D rank monster such as this. I lift my hand and pull out my sword sheath as the peach ball rabbit closes in. The cheeks of the peach ball rabbit puff and swell. Pihu! While I was wondering what it was doing, the next moment a large amount of needles were ejected from the peach ball rabbit's mouth. These are cactus needles? It seems to have saved up stock to be used for ammunition. What an annoying trick. I turn the sheath of my sword and parry the needles.
Pifu.
I grabbed the peach ball rabbit by the ears and hold it in place. When our eyes met, I lightly smiled. The peach ball rabbit's body trembles.
Gaga.
Together with the roar, the evil plague dragon's gigantic figure pitches forwards. It was trying to forcefully move while its muscles were still hardened by paralysis. Nice, very good. You should at least react that much or this will be boring. I released the peach ball rabbit's ears and kicked it. It flew off, but not by that much because, of course, I wasn't able to put much force into it while holding it.
Bifu.
The peach ball rabbit lessened the damage by extending its ears as it came in contact with the ground and immediately got back up. A TSK is let out as I turn around. Can you take care of that hindrance, mister?
Former Night Chief?
I said to Adolfo, who was standing behind me with a complicated expression. How bothersome. How I see it, Adolfo's job as a decoy is already over and the worst-case scenario has already faded. Although I was going to slowly crush the dragon, should I reverse our targets? Or should I quickly kill Adolfo and take my time subjugating the evil plague dragon?
Kuh.
163 Tale of a Certain Brave Man 6 Side Story. I rush ya, ever since we went out on the subjugation you've had a strange face.
What's going on?
Said Adolfo in a crude manner. I had suspected that he had been suspicious of me already, but did he already have those suspicions before we left on the subjugation? At that time I had already treated the plan as a success and may have been a little too excited.
So now, what to do?
Right now I should finish up with Adolfo since I still have to deal with the evil plague dragon, but things have become pretty complicated. That plague dragon's paralysis began to wear off just as I was about to confront Adolfo, spoiling the fun. For Adolfo, I had thought of an end that was suitable for him and had gone through the trouble of arranging preparations. It is not very pleasant for me that this had become tedious. But for the plague dragon, I wanted to torment it slowly. Besides, that thing is also an owner of God's voice. There is a possibility that the story related to God's voice that bastard priest is hiding can be drawn out from that plague dragon. This is a rare opportunity to try to torment it with various methods.
Oi.
Oi.
What happened? What's with the silence?
It's so bothersome. I'm trying to think of how to return the favor to you, yet this idiot thinks I can't hear him from this close a distance? My apologies. Certainly, maybe I was a little distraught. That was not like me. It might be due to the miasma from that evil dragon? While holding my head and staring at ground, I shake my head. How many times must I deceive this idiot? Anyway, is this the time to be thinking like this? When I glanced at his eyes, I could still see the color of doubt within them. Remembering my past mistake, will I repeat the same thing? In order to restore Adolfo's trust, should I follow up on my words and actions from a little while ago? I wonder if I got carried away a bit too much. Considering Adolfo's personality, once I do this. No. But I don't like having someone who doubts me by my side. I can't bring myself to have a conversation with that dragon and slave woman, even in this situation. Enough already, isn't this good enough already? So troublesome. I rush ya? In order to understand my words, Adolfo calls my name again. I ignore his call and unsheath my sword, heading towards Adolfo. Mr. Former Night Chief, maybe for a while you can practice with me? That longsword over there, won't you pick it up? I tilt my head a bit to provoke him. What are you talking about so suddenly? Adolfo, who lapses, retreats.
It's slow.
Do I have to thoroughly teach you from 1 to 10? No, in truth I wanted to see my own growth against the former Night Chief and set this all up just for that. In fact, around 4 years ago, I really wanted to kill a few civilians in public so that you would have go out and handle it, but the priest wasn't so enthusiastic about it and turned down the proposal, so here we are now. If I were to do such a thing, I'm sure former Night Chief would become filled with a sense of justice and want to defeat me, but the risk for me at the time was too great. Adolfo opens his eyes and clenches his teeth. Gradually, even the dense Adolfo also seems to have noticed it in the end. This is why I decided to kill the fiancé and the younger brother of the Night Chief and then push all the blame on the Night Chief. Once you had entered prison, the status of a hero became useful as there were many opportunities to use it. Really, it was easy to pretend to be a hero. With my magic, I can create as many misleading pieces of evidence as I want because I have many acquaintances who are good at those sort of things. In the first place, people who doubt me are not living in this country. Because both the idiots from the church did not get on well with Mr. Knight Chief, the investigation was done in a sloppy way? Adolfo is staring at me silently. Good reaction. That is the reaction I want to see. Adolfo, that fellow must be thinking of killing me now. But that will not come true. Adolfo's sword will not hit me. Even if it hit, it will not cause a fatal injury to me. There is no reason to lose. While thinking about wanting to kill you, I will continue to trample over you. The humiliation I received from 4 years ago, I will return it 100-fold. By doing so, that blemish in my life will be resolved. Looking at the expression of Adolfo, I felt a sense of relief in my chest. Ah, this day finally came. How many days have I waited for this moment to come? Thank you, Adolfo. Because of you, I would not have been successful if I had not been humiliated. I would not have put my life on the line to level up during my travels. The day where I feel a refreshing feeling that I have never felt before should have never come. In this particular matter, I will give my thanks with appreciation. So, at best I will let you suffer and die while eating sand. If you hold a grudge, you should hate your own carelessness when you showed off that day. Adolfo walks toward the sword that was stuck in the ground. He pulls it out, makes a big swing and holds it towards me. First, listen closely. Regarding the murder of my younger brother and Sylphie, is it because you wanted to conquer me with your sword? Sylphie? When I ask again, Adolfo's eyes flashed with bloodlust. Ah, his fiancée? I did not know every single name. I was not interested to know. That woman, which part of this ugly man did that woman fall in love with? No way, that is not the reason. Do I look like an idiot? He found the time to tell a joke. In Harani, if a prisoner escapes, there are cases where the close relatives are executed. Although, it is to prevent escape, there have been instances of it happening. I have declared in the city that I will bear sin, but of course I do not actually need to bear it. In the city, I pretend to be an innocent young man who believes in the benefactor from the past and pleases the crowd from my own standpoint. If deceiving is a crime, then that is the mistake of the crowd who have allowed this path. That crowd is just as guilty as I am. I blame this kind of behavior. Humans, it is their own fault for not thinking. When I return to Harani, regarding the matter of the Knight Chief, how should I report it? Mr. Adolfo was killed by a plague dragon. I think I will report it like that? Good. It's really good. This is the best feeling. As a matter of fact, if you think about it normally, it is likely that your relatives will be executed regardless of how I reported to the church about this case. For this I applaud. There were also rumors about Adolfo's close relatives being suspicious of the church and that opposition towards the church is spreading. That is the priest's problem. If Adolfo escapes in the middle of the turmoil during the plague dragon subjugation, they will be glad to execute Adolfo's close relatives. The setup is in place. In this case, even if I lose, not only will he not be able to avenge his younger brother and fiancé, but his close relatives will be executed as well. This includes Adolfo's parents too. This is a fight which I will not be able to lose. No, this is a battle that I will not lose. Therefore, Adolfo cannot win. He definitely cannot win. Clearly, with this much difference in status, it would be difficult to lose. Die while suffering in helplessness and despair. Come on, Adolfo. Without magic, show me what a soldier of Harani can do. I will use the sword given to soldiers from Harani to put an end to Adolfo. I will not use the holy sword or the cursed sword. Even if I use it, you would still know the heart-crushing difference in absolute strength. Instead, I will use it to torment you. I rush ya. Adolfo rushes in while shouting. Kuh. 164 Tale of a Certain Brave Man 7 Side Story. Adolfo swings his sword while rapidly reducing the distance between us. I could easily chop off your wrist and behead you, but I have no intention to end it so easily. Luckily, it seems that the plague dragon is still not able to move. I'll take my time to carefully and slowly torment you to my liking. Since Adolfo is carefully watching me with his eyes, he was able to read my sword's movements and dodge. After 4 consecutive close-range exchanges, Adolfo grew impatient and tried to attack with a diagonal slash while jumping back to evade. What's this now? It doesn't even feel like I'm fighting. The ability of Harani's strongest soldier is too poor. Are you acting stupid? Aren't you lacking a little discipline and training? Although Adolfo would often get ridiculed in prison, I've yet to see this kind of reaction. Even after all that, is not all that he's doing right now a bit disappointing? Even after all that provocation, it's sad that this is all he could muster. I wanted to torment you little by little, but I must refrain from doing so as I must still deal with that dragon. I don't have much time to play. Really, I'm busy. Now to further unsettle Adolfo, it's better to approach from a different perspective. How is it? To know that you were the reason for your brother and fiancé's death, do you like the feeling of witnessing those close to you being executed? Come on, if you don't hurry up it will become a serious matter. Such a twisted heretic. Oh, he's mad. I knew it, such a visually unsatisfying response is not worth it. For this I have everything well prepared. It will not amuse me if you fight against this. Adolfo lets his emotion take over and raises his sword. He's still moving as usual, what should I do about this? Ma, I understand the feeling of thoroughly evading a strike swung with full strength. Well, I do feel that the strength behind his swings have become somewhat better as I was evading. It was expected for him to at least achieve this much. If only Adolfo could look at our statuses, there will not be such a boring battle, he would have showed his neck for me. My, what a pity. I run beside Adolfo. When the sword swung down towards me, it missed and created a gust of sand on the ground. Goo! Adolfo frowned, covering his ear with his right hand. There have certainly been many words of praise about you before, was it there is no way to reach his strength, you will only receive a counterattack such as I have now, am I right? Because I was smiling mockingly, I was glared at by Adolfo. Right, this is not needed, so I'm returning this. When I ran beside him just now, I slashed one ear off using the edge of the sword. I swing the sword lightly, Adolfo's ear is lightly tossed into the air. Using the fuller, I hit Adolfo's ear. T/N, fuller, the flat side of a sword. Planning to return it by hitting it over, Adolfo's ear is smashed into pieces of meat and blood is sent flying everywhere. Oops, my apologies. However, it truly is like the former Night Chief. He was able to suppress the blood loss somewhat by pressing against it and immediately corrects himself to wield the sword with both hands again. From now onwards I will devote myself. I kicked the ground to launch towards Adolfo. From the shaken expression of Adolfo, he did not expect I would move this early. Come on. From the right and left, I swing my arm to attack from both sides. Isn't it too late to guard the attack now? Isn't it useless, shouldn't you just sit down? Adolfo is barely keeping up with me by adjusting my speed accordingly. Of course, now Adolfo does not have the luxury to counterattack, exhausting himself by dealing with attacks one by one. Without giving him the time to recover his posture, his stance gradually collapses. Finally, Adolfo loses his posture and shows a big gap in his stance. Before he swings down with his sword, I send him flying with a kick in the stomach. Gufo? Adolfo's huge body is sent flying, crashing with his back on the ground. Even so, the sword did not leave his hand, he is reputed to be strong-willed, it's painful and unsightly. Adolfo stands up immediately and readies his sword towards me. Indeed, he has become pitiful and I think I should face him as an opponent without a sword. Even bare hands are enough. However, even that method is pitiful. You! I extend my arm against Adolfo who runs towards me while shouting. A 5-move strike. Maybe I should get his wrist with a 5-move strike. From the moment I announce that, I ready my sword slowly and construct a strategy to fight in my head. Here, first, second, 3RD. Strike first to get the initiative. It is a painful feeling being overpowered in a contest of swords, letting you know that you weren't as good as you thought you were. Fourth strike. The speed of my attack is raised. His guard speed is slow, Adolfo's stance has collapsed. Before his guard is ready, I strike with my left hand. And then this is fifth strike. Aiming at the left arm, I make a small turn with the sword and drive the sword into his arm. As foretold, with 5 strikes Adolfo's wrist is chopped off. I cannot suppress the corners of my mouth from curving up. To see Adolfo's expression, I raise my eyes. With one hand, Adolfo directs his sword towards me and swings it down. This person purposely extended his left hand to restrict my movement. Ma, if it is this speed difference, from here it would be easy to get away from here. It's about time I break his will. It's a shame, but I have to end this little warm-up. I'll have to break your will once more. Giving up on Adolfo's hand, I kicked the floor and went down. TN, Krush. Shockwave. The slash of the longsword holds some force. It was clever of him to have lasted until this point. Although I am reluctant, I have no choice but to accept it. There is no meaning in doing this, it's annoying. Enough, let's quickly kill Adolfo and get this over with. I have no plan to kill Adolfo in one strike, it would spoil the fun. A man who cannot read the atmosphere. That is why the church hates him. I cross my arms while receiving the attack of a shockwave. A useless attack. Adolfo throws his sword ahead this time. If it is just this much, no matter how, I can still handle it. What is this guy thinking? Did he understand the difference in ability and literally threw it? Or did he feel like returning a blow? Did he lose the will to fight? No matter what, the conclusion has been somewhat decided. I wonder if I had played with him a little bit too much. The thrown sword is dodged by bending my back. Adolfo extends his hand toward me.
Claire?
At this moment, with that level of magic, what are you trying to do? Behind me, there is the sound kachi, the sound of metal clashing. Is the sword being bounced back? By using the sound, the trajectory of the sword can be predicted. It would not be able to hit me. Yes, that's right. With the ground raised up by magic clay, it is for the thrown sword to bounce back and hit the target, a desperate trick. I keep my eyes focused on my back. I tilt myself and Adolfo's sword flies past my inclined body. That beautiful evasive movement, it is enough to reach the artistic realm. If this guy were to practice like this more often, his swordsmanship would improve. That's why it's weak.
Hi, good?
One hit with a slash, is that satisfying enough?
Eh?
When I tilt my neck, Adolfo jumps towards this place. In mid-air, Adolfo holds his sword in a messy way and just like that, it heads towards my face. There is no strategy, just blind movement. With this position it cannot be avoided. It is easy to counter. After that, it will be possible to kill Adolfo, the attack will not be stopped. Even with magic, it will not be able to turn the situation right now. 165 Tale of a Certain Brave Man 8 Side Story. Ah really, this has already become stupid. Absurdly so. Even though I already had no chance of losing, I didn't think that it would become like this. After clicking my tongue, I point towards Adolfo. Grovel. At the word I lower my finger to the ground. The longsword leaves Adolfo's hands. The sword loses its momentum and nails to the ground as is without resistance.
Gua?
I fix the sword to the sheath and rise while sweeping the sand.
Ha, so boring.
It's an effect of the prisoner engraving which the priest put on. If you add in some magic and give orders, then it's possible to control them to a certain extent. This is insurance since I took the role of watching him to make sure he doesn't escape during his temporary release. It seems that it doesn't always work depending if they hear it or the content of the command, but it's easy enough to use if it's only used to stop movement for a moment. However, I did not expect to rely on this, as I was going to kill you after showing you your incompetence. This really makes me white. Coward, you bastard. Adolfo says while looking at me. Is he foolish or stupid? Just what exactly is he misunderstanding? No, even if such an attack were to hit there wouldn't be much of a problem, but since your petty mind thought that it would, I took the liberty to show you just how foolish you are. The title of night is crying. Even if Adolfo's attack just now hit, it could be solved with a high rest. Adolfo is also in no state to try to run. Even if he could, I could just deal with everything using magic. However, even with the high rest, there is still a chance for scars to remain if there is too much damage. Can I really risk a scratch on my beautiful face? And by Adolfo? What a silly idea. There was already no chance of winning against me for Adolfo to try such an underhanded method. I even went as far as limiting myself for a better fight, but I will not go so far as taking such a stupid strike. How dare he not realize this and attempt such a crude method on me? Now then, goodbye, you have suited your purpose here. I step on Adolfo's shoulder and pull out my cursed sword from its sheath. I stab the vicious crimson blade into Adolfo's back.
Ahya.
It's not a vital point, but it will still hurt. The cursed sword, blood-sucking princess. It's a sword built for war and torture, which was said to be created by the former demon king's subordinate. A sword which inflicts a curse and siphons the life force from the opponent and returns it to the owner. All the while, slowly eradicating the opponent due to the powerful curse and poison. I wonder if leaving Adolfo alone here will be alright? There's no need for me to take further action. After he suffers severely he will die. Well then, escape prisoner Adolfo. I take my foot off Adolfo and tap his back lightly. Adolfo screams while groaning as I spit on his face. Oh no, I'm feeling a little ill. I thought that I could make a clean break from Adolfo, but my feelings have become odd in the end. Is this what they call dragonflies in the stomach, or is it indigestion? Well, it's nice either way. This fuzzy feeling, maybe I should settle it with that evil plague dragon. The plague dragon can move its limbs, but it doesn't seem like it could move them steadily yet. It's not amusing that it could already move, but then again it is a pretty hefty dragon. If the paralysis stays for a bit, then that dragon won't be able to drag that big body around. Also that peach ball rabbit. Did it escape? Well, of course it did. Even if I try to track it down, there are too many monsters around to do so, especially if it dives in the ground. I don't really need to find it anyway, since even a surprise attack from it will be easy to deal with. There's also that slave woman at the shallows. Strange things were said between her and Adofu a while ago, and her relationship with the plague dragon seems good. If so, then something should be done. After taking a glance at the plague dragon, I advance towards the slave woman.
Enu.
The slave woman shouts with a trembling voice as I approach. Hearing the woman's voice, the plague dragon raises a roar. It was a roar thirsting for blood. Bingo, looks like this did the trick. You were provoked enough to try to move even with such a paralysis on you? I can understand the full extent of its abilities as well, since I could see its status. Looks like this dragon is not very wise. Oh, that slave woman has characteristic cat ears. Aphilas Huma? After looking at her status, I found that her name is Nina Nifa. She has little ability to fight properly, at the most enough to hunt E-rank monsters. That one slave merchant certainly worked with Felis Huma. So did she survive from being fed for the sand centipede? It was reported that the plague dragon chased after the sand centipede after all. I could bet that the slave merchant wouldn't have even dreamt that the dragon was trying to help humans. This evil plague dragon is quite good in nature. I realized that I was instinctively liking out my tongue. Oops, that's bad. I need to fix this habit, especially if I want to go in public. However, looking from near, this beast slave has quite the well-balanced face. But maybe since she has been beside that plague dragon for some time, there is a curse status abnormality, which makes her face pale. However, such a thing does not cover up natural beauty. Big inclined eyes and pupils peculiar to a cat, a small mouth that draws out the desire to protect, and an ideal shape for a nose that draws emphasis but not too overwhelming. It's beautiful and completely unnatural to make it a slave and stuff it into a large carriage. The seller should not have usually bothered transporting across the desert and instead arrived elsewhere. So was this beast woman for the purpose of negotiations to lower the tariff? Or was it promised to an executive of the church in advance? What an unexpected find. This woman is a flower. Just killing her won't do. I have something else to think about while tormenting that plague dragon. It may not be bad to sell it. It now has a moderate value. However, my involvement could be easily traced back to me with my position, even if I had someone meditate. It will certainly be heard by that slave merchant's ears, and even if I could seal his mouth, I'm not too sure if I can seal the rumors from spreading. However, even with such a situation, it still seems wasteful to kill. If I were to defeat the dragon and help the slave, then it could be presented as a favor to me. If I advertise myself as the brave man, the hero, I can take care of that annoying priest's mood. Especially if I take care of Adofu for them, then I can have this souvenir. I plan to leave Harani in the near future, and it won't be too bad to add another traveler. It will be worthwhile to have her stand at my side. Such a beautiful woman can be used for negotiating with a nobleman. I can lend her overnight, and if they get in the way, I can just sell her at that time. Among the rich there are many with weird tastes of subpopular hobbies, so it will be worth the trouble. If I don't sell it along the way, I can just kill it and throw it away. Now, calm down, won't you? I only came to help you. Now how do you say your name? I brighten up the tone of my voice and reach out with a gigglish smile. I already know the name, but if I ask a simple question, then their alertness somewhat softens. Even if it doesn't, it will still be an opportunity to read the intentions of the other. If you were to look at my state earlier, you wouldn't think I was human. But that doesn't matter at the moment. At any rate, it's a woman that's been accompanying a plague dragon. Even if there are no others to rely on, it's impossible she has ordinary nerves. This fellow seems like the kind to do anything it takes to survive. Perhaps that was the reason all the other slaves that were left as bait died, while she was the only one who survived. She may perhaps jump at the chance to go with the most reliable one here. Actually, if this woman wants to live, then there is no other choice than to try to flatter me. No matter how uncomfortable she may feel. Ni. The woman says with a shaky voice. Then it sounds like she swallowed her saliva as she dug her fingernails into her thighs to suppress her trembling. Ni? What starts with an I? I ask back gently. At that moment the woman's eyes opened wide. Hinya. Although she was kneeling on the ground and suffering just a moment ago, she kicked off the ground and rapidly closed in on me. I did not know what happened. But I was at last able to understand after the woman's nails tore the thin skin of my cheeks. Ah, this woman slashed at my face with her claws. Fu, fu, fu. Fu. I did not think my gentle gesture would be returned to me with a claw. I traced the injuries with my finger. To be scuffed with the claw of a dirty beast man, no, it was a great show of courage, yeah. Really, right? Plans have changed. Let's kill it after all. This is easier, that way I don't have to think of anything extra, it will be very refreshing.
Nia. Oh.
After the back of my hand strikes the jaw, she falters and I grab her by her delicate neck and lift her.
Guru.
At that moment, the dragon roared out. When I look, it's facing the sky as it's roaring. Is this the appearance of finally being able to shake off the paralysis? I let go of the woman's neck. She kneeled down and fell on the spot. It seems that she was considerably weakened from the curse to begin with. Even if not by my own hand, she will die. But that plague dragon, as soon as it escaped paralysis, it launched a surprise attack of what was it? Kamaitashi? Wasn't it foolish to inform me of it by getting up and roaring? Well, such a move won't be able to hit anyway. Perhaps because I was squeezing the woman's neck, did you purposely reveal yourself to make me let go? Fu, fu fu fu. Laughter, I couldn't bear it. This plague dragon, I may be able to use it. It's interesting, a funny little chap. It is regrettable that I will kill you here. I like it. I will place my attention on you for now since I've already dealt with Adofu. Let's prepare a more suitable place of death for an evil plague dragon who likes humans.
Kuh.
166 Invitation. When I apply some strength and bend my legs, my body rises up. At last, the paralysis seems to be fading.
This way, I can move.
That blonde bastard, he's had his back turned towards me for a while. And he seems to be having some kind of conversation with Nina. I try to roar, but he's not paying attention to me at all. Does he think that I'm still unable to move due to the paralysis, or does he think it doesn't matter even if it does wear off? Certainly that guy is strong. Abnormally strong. If we really fight each other, with my status I definitely cannot win. But he has huge openings due to his negligence. I don't know the whole story, but I was left aside and he started to duel with Adofu. From a third-person view, it is obvious that he sees Adofu as inferior and that he's not fighting seriously. Now, if I dash toward that back, I might be able to get a hit in. If I throw my body weight into it and make him eat a nutcracker, even with that status he should not be unharmed. I hold my breath and focus more strength in my hind legs. I'll leap toward his back and strangle him with my claws, then fly into the sky in one motion and knock him to the ground. I am not sure whether this will work. I do not remember Nutcracker ever working on a superior opponent, but that's because the opponents that were stronger than me have generally been huge, so I was not able to carry them and fly. There is hardly anyone with such an outrageous status in such a small body. Perhaps this will go well, or perhaps he'll easily shake free. In the latter case, I will most probably be killed at that point, and the likelihood for that, him shaking free, to happen is high. Maybe he'll even chop off my head without looking back. But there is no chance of me winning in a normal exchange of blows. If this drags on, there is the possibility that both Nina and the ball rabbit will also be killed. I have to do it. The moment I became determined, I saw Nina scratch the face of that man.
Oh, oi Nina, what have you done?
I understand how you feel, but recklessly pissing him off is dangerous. That guy was stunned and had an emotionless face for a second. Then, a smile slowly emerged on his face. Just like the one in Napara art, Tien, imagine Slender Man smiling, a creepy smile. That guy held out his hand as if he wanted to request for a handshake and then hit Nina's face with it. That guy moves towards the staggering Nina and lifts her up by the neck. Nina will be killed. Even if I leap towards there now, I will not make it. For Nina, even if that guy did not strangle her neck, she will still die due to dragon scale. Rather, that may be more agonizing compared to this. Why? It's because it is a curse from an evil dragon. It could even be said that the final result is just occurring sooner. But even so, until the end, can you stay with me? Nina and I, together we made that promise. As if I could let her fall into the hands of that brute and be killed. Gyuyoryubo. I heave my body up and roar with my face pointed towards the sky. That guy seems to have noticed that my paralysis has worn off as he looks back at me while releasing the hand that was holding Nina. Good, I have successfully directed his attention towards here. I kick the ground with my hind legs and close the distance between us. I have lost the element of surprise, but it's not like I had a good chance in the first place. I still have a chance of winning, just like when he faced Adolfo, he handicapped himself and tried to prolong the match. If you face a life and death matter in such an easygoing manner, there is bound to be a critical gap.
Fu.
Is there something wrong? That guy started to laugh. Really, what is wrong with this guy?
Garua.
I swing my arm up and aim at his head with my claw. By adjusting the speed on purpose, I did not give my all in that attack. That guy unsheathed his sword and defended against my claw in a leisurely manner. Keen, the sound of metal rang, my arm is put to a halt. The purpose of adjusting the speed is to bring out the carelessness in that guy even if there is only a little bit in him. If there is a mistake, then I will be killed and that will be the end. With the difference in status, I cannot think of any other way for me to have a chance of winning besides this. There is a chance that he may not deliver a finishing blow but instead do something to paralyze me again like his first attack. It is a gamble with a slim chance of winning. Claw and sword clash with each other. In the midst of all those clashes, my side is showing faults on purpose. Although I fall behind in terms of speed, I am leading in terms of reach. At first glance, we seem evenly matched, but actually it is because the opponent is holding himself right at the point where I still have my superiority. That guy should have a skill he's concealing with magic that gives him a ridiculous attack range extension. From his expression, it is obvious that my opponent is just playing with me.
Who are you, eh?
I make a big swing with my shoulder. Because that guy suddenly jumped to my side, I missed my attack and got my claw stuck in the ground. That guy loosens his expression. If I want to do it, it will be now.
Jie.
I put my all in the other hand to attack.
Nah.
To defend my attack, his huge movement is too slow.
It is in.
That guy, receiving one hit should be able to put him into distress. The fight with Adolfo too, when it looked like he himself would receive an attack, he was trying to end the fight quickly. If this hit did not inflict a mortal wound, the seed of hope of winning will collapse. My claw crushed the shadow of that guy. I cannot feel anything in my hand. This feeling, it is similar to when I hit Mirage. Certainly this guy possessed a Mirage-like skill. I should make you a little more obedient. Don't worry, because I will control my power. I hear his voice and raise my eyes.
Skyfall.
At the same time as his voice continues, there's an intense impact on my head and I'm knocked down on the spot.
Gua.
My head is slammed to the ground and I hit my chin. My field of vision shook greatly. I was hit directly on the center of the head. My consciousness is in a critical state. Resistance skill, paralysis resistance, has increased from LV2 to LV3. Even if God's voice indiscriminately tells me that, I cannot afford to be pleased. That guy climbs onto my head and thrusts his sword. If this continues, I will be killed.
Guyu.
You don't have to groan. I have a little interest in you. Do you understand my words? That guy said that with a smile and sheathes his sword. He starts clapping his hand with the sound pashi pashi. What is with this guy? He really is something. I never thought such a sentimental dragon existed. I'm very touched. He says in a suspiciously sweet-talking voice, with his fingers on the bridge of his nose. A very pretentious act. If he plans to kill me, I do not think he will put up such a farce. Anyway, do you mean you do not want to kill me right now? But still, I can't believe it. No, I understand that this is rude, but I am a doubtful person. Which is why I want to see you putting your life on the line even more. From his tone and expression, I do not think he is being honest. He's speaking indirectly, but in short, what is this guy trying to say? This guy bends his body forward and looks into my eyes. 5 days. No, it's better if it is earlier. 4 days, yes, that is just nice. After 4 days, straight north from here, there is a country where I was born. Can you come 4 days later in the afternoon? From here it will take 2 days to arrive if you hurry. While saying that, that guy points to the direction I came. Ahead of that, there is the aforementioned city with a castle wall. No way, are you telling me to go there? There will be a huge panic if I enter the city. I already thought he was the kind of guy where you can never tell what he's thinking, but no matter how I look at it, I can't figure out what he means. Did you not attack me with the intention to prevent me from getting near to that city with the castle walls? The things you say and the things you do are all mixed up.
Gyuvo. As if I could do that? Who the hell would go?
Mustering up all the strength I have left, I wave my claw towards the guy on my head. Well then, I will be waiting. Irashia-kun, please do not betray my expectations. That guy raises his sword in its scabbard and drives it into my head. My claw did not make it in time at all. I received an intense blow in my head again and my consciousness was cut off. Chapter 167. My eyes open. My consciousness is still dim. At first it is blurry, but my eyes gradually focus. It seems I have hardly moved from where I was before I lost consciousness. When I think that this landscape looks unfamiliar, my line of sight lowers. My cheeks are lodged firmly in the ground. I stretch my neck and raise my body while spitting out the sand in my mouth. Bleh bleh. How did so much sand enter my mouth? Come to think of it, inside my dream, I think I was biting onto the back of a dark worm the size of a mountain. It tasted weird. I never thought that there will be a day where I would taste sand. Freud, please diagnose my dream. My head has calmed down after spitting out the sand. I'm sure I was hit in the head by the guy with golden hair. But I'm still alive? Am I being overlooked? Wait, but if that is so, then why? Oh right, Nina.
Where is Nina?
When I thought about Nina, blood rushed to my head. The block in my thoughts cleared up. Even if Nina was overlooked, due to the effects of dragon scale, there is a possibility she is already dead.
Guo.
I look around as I roar.
Don't move.
Coming from behind me was a telepathy message full of hostility. I stop my movements. A telepathy message received at this timing. I doubt that it is anyone else other than the ball rabbit. But there is hostility in that telepathy? After I stop moving, I slowly look behind me. I meet eyes with Adolfo sitting cross-legged on the ground with a complicated expression. The ball rabbit is right behind Adolfo. The ball rabbit has both of its ears constricted around Adolfo's neck. The ball rabbit seems to be serious, but the overall figure still looks silly to me. The ball rabbit is glaring firmly. It is the first time that I have seen it this angry. My eyes and the ball rabbit's eyes meet and somehow its glare softens. It seems like the don't move from just now was directed at Adolfo. Since Adolfo was weakened from being stabbed in the back by the mysterious guy who had the same name as me, I thought that he had died after that. The wounds on Adolfo's body seemed to have covered up. Did the ball rabbit treat him?
Pefew.
Eyes finally opened. Ball rabbit sighs in relief. Anyway, it is good to know that the ball rabbit is fine. But I still do not see Nina around. Is Nina okay?
That guy took her away?
I knew it, so it became that way? For some reason, I knew that it would become like that. The last thing that guy mentioned was about an invitation to the city. That is the reason he didn't finish me off. In order to lure me to the city, Nina was kidnapped as a hostage. It's a complicated feeling. I was suddenly attacked and seriously injured, and Nina was even kidnapped, yet her life will be prolonged because of that. From the few exchanges in our conversation, it was easy to figure out that he is a total bastard, even though going to Harani wasn't what Nina wanted. Because Nina is separated from me, her curse should weaken. If it is that person, there is also no need to worry about being defeated by monsters along the way. That person seems capable enough to handle it even if he was faced with 2 huge giant centipedes.
And then, well,
Adolfo is a
Pefew.
Capture done? Oh. He was about to die soon. So he wouldn't notice I treated him from underground? Thinking that Adolfo would not be able to see you, you treated him from underground, right? Ball rabbit, at times like this, you are really clever. Perhaps it is more clever than me? It is true that Adolfo can be useful in sorting out this situation. We can get all kinds of information regarding that mysterious guy and Harani from him too. He seems strong-willed, but he had a falling out with his comrade. Even if we do not threaten him, there is a high chance that he will tell us the truth. For now, I should take a look at Adolfo's status. Adolfaren. Race Earth Huma. Status prisoners mark poison small cursed small. Paralysis small lowered senses small. LV 48/85. HP 57/316. Mepetrei patru 98. How did this person get loaded down with so many abnormal status effects? As someone who has experience in various battlefields, it is my first time seeing 5 status effects. Even in the past, I think the most I have seen is the poison spider which had 3. Looked like would die from poison, so symptoms lessened. Ball Rabbit, you are able to remove the poison? Perhaps it is an effective clean? I thought for sure that that skill was only for cleaning. But if he resisted, I couldn't hold him down, so a little was left. A cunning move. Certainly, even if Adolfo was not in perfect form, it would be easy for him to shake Ball Rabbit off. An enemy of an enemy is not necessarily an ally. If it is Ball Rabbit with telepathy, it should be able to perform a simple mind reading, but even that skill is not flawless. Or possibly, it found hostility towards me inside Adolfo? Anyhow, I do not understand what happened in their situation, so after he's cured, the chance of him going on a rampage is not zero. It is necessary to have insurance during the period when I had lost consciousness.
Phew.
At the same time as the Ball Rabbit cries, a blue light comes out from its body and envelopes Adolfo. I understand immediately because I had seen it before.
This is the skill, clean.
Looks like it's completely curing the poison. Because I had woken up, it's no longer necessary to have an insurance.
Thanks.
Adolfo turns his head around and gives his thanks to Ball Rabbit. It seems like he was worried about how to respond, but for now he is giving his thanks. Don't move, do not make me repeat. Adolfo lifted his head immediately. Like before, he is showing a complicated expression.
Anyway, I am awake now, can you unfasten your ears?
For me, I can immediately capture Adolfo alive in his current condition. For this reason, Ball Rabbit has already cured Adolfo, yet for some reason stubbornly keeps the restraint around his neck. Ch 168 A certain brave man's story. First and foremost, I must listen to Adolfo's circumstances. Although I had asked the Ball Rabbit to release Adolfo multiple times, it still hasn't lessened its grip.
I give up, let's just proceed like this.
Thus, the quiet interrogation by the Ball Rabbit began.
Phew. Who are you?
Adolfo remained silent. I guess it won't be as easy to get information out of him as we thought, so the Ball Rabbit asks again. Speak in mind, I can hear. It doesn't seem like Adolfo was attempting to resist, but was probably trying to figure out how telepathy works. However, if he does so, then I won't be able to hear it. I can always hear the story later from the Ball Rabbit, but there will likely be some discrepancies. Telling me at the same time will be a waste of time and MP after all. The Ball Rabbit can use telepathy as easily as it is able to use its mouth to talk. Has being the translator for the conversation so far made it a natural edit? Since it's like that, is it possible that telepathy is even greater than being able to translate all languages? Adolfo, who received the thoughts of the Ball Rabbit, looked at me surprised. You can understand my words?
Guru.
I nodded.
I am Adolfo Arens.
There was a report of a dangerous monster being sighted, so as I returned from my temporary release from prison, I was to go and subjugate that monster. I am still a prisoner. Those last words sounded painful for him to say. I had thought that there was something strange going on. So he is a prisoner. Looking at this old man, it must be troublesome. That blonde guy probably has something to do with it. Another question. Why were you two fighting? Adolfo's face tenses up. He bites his lips to suppress his anger as some blood begins to drip. I was deceived, I had put too much trust in that demon. He says so as he strikes the ground with his fist. Adolfo proceeds to talk after that. According to Adolfo, apparently that man is considered a brave man, a hero. My name, Russia, originated from a flower, and I have certainly heard that one of the meanings of that flower can mean hero. Although I have some objections, that name certainly has some connection with us. Once every 500 years, the king of monsters, known as the Demon King, gathers the monsters and threatens the world of man as told in stories from Harani. Every time the Demon King appears, a man with the power to defeat it appears in the holy land of Harani. Therefore, that man is considered a brave man. The hero is found by the church's jewel and then raised in the church from childhood to receive special training. It's a story that repeats every 500 years. There seems to be few people who believe in such a story, but the church does indeed foster them to be heroes. It seems that the story up to there was fine, but the church who received these heroes quickly rose in power. As such, the amount of supplies coming from other countries increased. The church, which continued to receive support, quickly became corrupted. As the interests of the hero were enforced, the church grew in size as the priests consolidated inside. Although the amount of supplies received should have enriched the land, the amount distributed to the people was meager. It is said that growing up spoiled was a symbol of being a hero. As Adolfo realized the faults, he, as the knight's leader, tried to do something about it, but there were many obstacles in the way which kept him from doing anything, ultimately leading to his current situation of bearing a deep-seated grudge. After some time, it was decided that a mock duel was to be held between him and that man in front of a crowd. This was 4 years ago, and at that time Adolfo had won. After the duel, the hero followed the legends and traveled with several female attendants. It seems he came back about a year ago, with all the attendants having either died, married off somewhere or run away, unable to bear the journey, or so it was told by Irushia. Regarding the circumstances surrounding Adolfo, it appears that he was told by the priest not to face off against the hero. At that time, nobody doubted him, but thinking about it now, all those who ventured with him were probably killed. When they were chosen by the hero, the women had all been pleased. It also seems that a popular daughter from the city of Harani was also chosen, and she left while receiving the blessings of many acquaintances. The hero steadily grew in fame wherever he went and was greeted with cheers when he came back. When Adolfo had believed that the man had changed after traveling around the world, an incident had occurred where Adolfo's brother and fiancé were killed. Adolfo had called for the improvement of regulations by the church at the time. Unfortunately, the church did not investigate the matters concerning the deaths, as it was tailored for Adolfo to take the fall. So he was imprisoned on false charges. While he was in prison, the hero came to visit. It seems that he wanted to reunite with him after 4 years. As Adolfo had suffered, the hero had talked to him as a friend and had promised to ask the church to investigate into the matters more closely. Adolfo had thought that he was much different from how he was 4 years ago and therefore had trusted his words. Although the price of such a promise was that he would go out to subjugate a plague dragon, he had already been betrayed from the start and thus that fight occurred. Also, once the hero returns to Harani, Adolfo will be treated as an escaped prisoner, inciting the church to hang all his relatives. It's a terrible story. While listening, I stomped on the ground and growled in anger. Although the content seems a bit outrageous, it doesn't seem like it's a lie. Also, with how long they were talking, if any of it were a lie then it would have been picked up by telepathy. By the way, Adolfo doesn't know why the hero wanted to take advantage of me. If the dragon were to wreak havoc in the city, then it would be the hero's name which would lose reputation. That's something to think about, but it may also be a cruel act. I wonder what will happen to Nina in Harani. That man is in a place where he is regarded as a hero, so he likely won't be killed. Also, who would suspect him of murder? It's something he had secretly handled and disposed of. I have to go and save Nina somehow, but that man definitely has a plan. He said to come at noon in 4 days' time. That time frame is certainly suspicious. It is dangerous to obediently venture to Harani, as I can't grasp what the other side's intentions are. It's funny when I think back to the time when I had wanted to travel there in the beginning. There are probably more people there than in Miria's village. This will become quite a commotion. Should I launch a surprise attack and get there early by using roll? Or should I attack from outside until they bring out Nina? That brave man said that it took 2 days to get to Harani from here, but maybe with roll, I'll be able to get there in half a day. He had seen my status, but he probably hadn't noticed the usefulness of the skill since I hadn't used it front of him. A surprise attack is possible, but I'm not too sure about it. Whether I can bring Nina out of there alive or not is questionable. However, to begin with, there is hardly any chance for me to win, even if I use roll to run away. It would be good to raise my level, even a little bit, to slightly raise my chances of winning before going to the city. I also want to help Adolfo's relatives if possible, but it will be difficult to do. Just getting Nina and escaping is already hard enough. Even if I can defeat the brave man, there's a chance that Adolfo's relatives are already done for. It is necessary to not only to deal with the brave man but to also ruin his reputation. Such a feat won't be easy though. As long as the story is heard by the church, then they will stop the rumors. No matter who I talk to, there won't be much help. No, that brave man is convinced that Adolfo is dead. Is there a possibility to lower that man's reputation so far that even the church can't overcome it by using Adolfo? If the timing is off, then it will only be a death sentence, but if the cards are played right, then it could be our trump card. What do you think of these 4 days? The ball rabbit asks Adolfo for his opinion while its ears still wrapped around him. Ball rabbit, think it over. As far as I've heard, that old man's completely a victim in this.
4 days. Pefew.
The ball rabbit holds Adolfo down as he's about to get up. Adolfo lowers his head and sits back down.
Gua? What's happening in 4 days? What's going on in 4 days?
The ball rabbit translates at this time. Although the words sound a little arrogant, it can't be helped. You didn't do it on purpose, did you?
Ach, I'm sorry.
That Pegasus of his can reach home in one day. If Russia were to quickly prepare the church, then maybe my relatives would receive capital punishment in 4 days or maybe 5, so I got a little carried away. In 4 or 5 days? Didn't that man say such a thing as well?
5 days.
No, it's better if it is earlier.
4 days, yes, that is just nice.
After 4 days, straight north from here, there is the country where I was born. Can you come 4 days later in the afternoon? From here it will take 2 days to arrive if you hurry. He's even thought of the possibility of the date being delayed.
Does this, by any chance?
No, it can't be that guy. Maybe Russia is going to keep the church from executing that slave girl for that long, since in Harani, discrimination against beast men is deeply rooted. It's not an impossible guess. As Adolfo says that, he drops his gaze to escape my line of sight. De, che. 169 Resolution. No way, did that man really have a way to kill in such a dignified manner? In 4 days, Nina will be executed. If that possibility exists, then we can't afford to wait for the brave man to come out. I only have to make it into the city. I have to quickly get into the city. I can't understand what that man was thinking of while coming up with this. It's not necessary to arrive in 4 days as instructed. Rather, that man could shift the dates so that I'm completely unprepared by the time I get there. That's what I thought, but Adolfo had a different opinion. As he told his thoughts to the ball rabbit, I shook my head and cast my head down. Even if you want to recover a hostage, you still need to get into the city in the day of the execution and immediately go in at the right time of their execution. Important criminals are put in the underground prison. There is no room for dragons to enter. I can't help but be convinced when you say it like that. It might be possible to destroy the facilities and kick around soldiers, but there will be mass casualties from that. I absolutely don't want to do such a thing. I can already imagine the types of titles I would receive from it. Also, depending on the structure of the facility, there is a possibility that Nina will be buried alive if it collapses. But entering Harani on the day of the execution is also dangerous on its own. Capital punishment in Harani is a public execution in the central square. Since it's out in the open, there's a possibility to retrieve Nina by quickly going in, but the problem lies with all the people who would be watching. According to Adolfo, the number of adults, a large percentage of Harani's population, will come see the executions. I don't know the brave man's final aim, but the purpose of him leaving me alive and inviting me by capturing Nina is to get me in a place with lots of people. I guess it would be better for him if he has lots of people there at the time, and Adolfo even said that he could have people gather just by using his name. Even if it was a small village, I managed to cause a large commotion back in the forest. This time, it will take place in a large square with many present. I don't know what will happen at such an event. Troops from all over the country will come together at once, people who are trying to escape from me will be pushing, and unfortunate children will die. Why would he do such a thing, even though he is called a hero? If I move as expected, then that man will come and pick me off fully prepared. I wanted to come in and out without fighting, but it doesn't look like I'll be able to. I need to figure out a way to break through somehow. But that's the hard part. After rescuing Nina, I have to somehow manage to shake off that hero. It's impossible to beat that hero in my current state. His stats all exceed mine, and he has a wide variety of cheats and skills with high attack power. He didn't even use all of his skills to catch me, and to think he still has more. It's also nerve-wracking that Adolfo received so many status abnormalities just from being stabbed with a sword. Getting away is impossible. He has a horse that can fly, along with his high-speed stats and magic to improve his physical ability. He'll catch up even if I use roll to run away. Also, if I use roll in the city, I don't know how many buildings will be destroyed in the process. That Tsukomi, God's voice, will certainly be the first to say something such as with the titles Calamity and Path of Evil. I can't defeat him as I am now, so I have to get stronger in the next 4 days. I need to boost my level before the execution deadline and raise my stats until I can fight equally with that hero. Once the hero is taken care of, if I can, I will clear up the false charges on Adolfo and leave Harani with Nina. That's the best solution. If I can't do that in time, then I will evolve into a speed-specialized dragon, that way I can escape with Nina. I can also make do with being able to deliver punishing blows. That slime I fought in the forest had said something about not in the habit of fighting lower-ranked opponents. If the hero thinks that he can easily overlook me, then Adolfo's relatives would be killed. Even if I think of all that, if I'm not able to raise my stats then I won't even be able to escape.
So how's my level currently look?
I rush ya? Race, Evil Plague Dragon. State, Normal. LV, 44/75. HP, 157/343.
Mepe, 109
I still need 31 levels until the next evolution? The higher the level the more difficult it gets. This is a rule of thumb, although not always the case. I wonder if I can bring my level up to max in the next 4 days. I need to keep pushing until I'm sure I can somehow overcome the danger. Fortunately, I had already obtained auto HP recovery. I should be able to start fighting from today. I'll focus on leveling up today, tomorrow and the day after that, and on the morning of the 4th day, use roll to head over to Harani. This will be considerably dangerous. I may be ranked monster already. I'm not entirely sure what that means, but it shouldn't be that weak. Being able to make a group of warriors turn back and neutralize without killing Adolfo should land me in a fairly strong category. Most of the monsters that I can encounter here can be easily defeated by me and turned into food. The opponent who can raise my level by several times. Would it be the giant centipede or the red ants? The last time I saw the giant centipede it was being attacked by red ants, so I'm unsure if it's still alive or not. If I will take them on then I might get overwhelmed. But there's no other choice. I have grown this much, if I want to grow even further I must be willing to take on the dangers that come with it or I won't be able to raise my level. 170 The third meeting. I scan my surroundings for my prey as I walk through the desert. I thought it would be easy at first, but it turns out that wasn't the case. I try to remember the location of the ant's nest as I move along, but at this rate, I'll be lucky if I'm able to find it. I should keep moving. I'll fly again and look around.
Gua.
After yelling, I stop and look behind me. The ball rabbit's ears are gripping onto my tail. Ah, I forgot that ball rabbit and Adolfo are on my back. I slowly lower my tail to the ground to let the ball rabbit and Adolfo get down.
Pefyu.
Are you really going to fight? Yes. In order to gain experience quickly, I have to do this. I'm doubtful of whether I even have a chance of succeeding, but I have to at least try. If I can't at least knock him down then I have no chance against that hero monster. But I have to at least buy some time for the ball rabbit to escape once the time comes.
Pefyu.
But I don't want to say it, but he's not an opponent that I can win against. Even more so if I have to watch out for the ball rabbit. It would just cause me worry when I'm fighting.
Pefyu.
It doesn't seem like it's entirely convinced, but it has accepted it for now. Adolfo also has the ability to defeat C-rank monsters. It doesn't seem like he's paying much attention to the conversation though. He's probably thinking about the coming fight. I should ask him later if he would be willing to escort the ball rabbit. Although I know his thoughts are elsewhere, I should still ask him since he still needs to borrow my help to save his relatives. Cooperating to level up would be more efficient. Looking at the state Afadu is in, it's apparent that he's fighting his own demons, and it's a heavy battle by the looks of it. I guess that kind of thing isn't limited to certain races. If possible, I would like to evolve into a gentle dragon of some kind, but now? I can't afford to be picky here. A strong and ferocious dragon will have to do right now. Since I have acquired rest, it's possible for me to become some kind of divine dragon along the road, but it will be impossible now.
Since a while ago, what have you been looking for?
Adolfo, who was ahead of me because he was being hurried by the ball rabbit, looked back at me and said so.
Pefyu.
Large centipede. The ball rabbit, who read my thoughts, said to Adolfo. Adolfo's mouth dropped as he stops walking. But he's pushed along by the ball rabbit. It is a silly reaction, but it's understandable. If I was told yesterday that I would be fighting that large centipede again, I would have given a similar reaction. Since Adolfo is from Harani, he should know how fearsome that large centipede is.
Goo!
I kick off the ground and fly up. Spreading my wings, I open my eyes against the headwind to scan the area. Sand, sand and more sand in all directions. I do see a beautiful lake in the distance. However, I won't be fooled again. Although we do have Ball Rabbit who's capable of using clean on the lake, he will be too exhausted to use telepathy. There is still much to be said to Adolfo, so I'd rather not waste energy on something unnecessary for the time being. The Ball Rabbit is all-purpose, but there isn't enough MP to go around. After reaching the highest point I could, I bent my neck to look around. I could see the ground moving a little in the distance.
What is that?
I'm getting a bad feeling. A giant monster the same color as the desert sand is moving about.
So it finally came out.
Race, giant sand centipede. State, normal. LV, 64/80ths. HP, 463/463.
MEP, 244-244.
ATK, 332. Def, 301.
Mana, 201.
SPD, 242. Rank, B. Characteristic skills. Myriapod, LV, a King's Shell, LV6, a Earth Attribute, LV. Auto HP Recovery, LV5, Presence Sense, LV4. Resistance Skills. Physical Resistance, LV6, Magic Resistance, LV2, Fall Resistance, LV4. Poison Resistance, LV6, Paralysis Resistance, LV2, Confusion Resistance, LV2. Drowsiness Resistance, LV3. Normal Skills.
Poison, LV5 de, LV6 Sandbrett, LV4.
Clay Wall, LV3, Paralysis Bite, LV2, Acid Spit, LV4. Heat Ray, LV4. Title Skills. King Centipede, LV, Lord of the Desert, LV6, Determination, LV4. Tenacity, LV7, Chaser, LV6, Final Evolution, LV. This guy, doesn't his level increase every time I see him? There's the possibility of it being a different one, but it smells like the same guy. Well, even if there are many like it, I'm still in trouble. So it was still alive after all. Seems like it escaped after I ran away. Legs that were supposed to have been eaten are fully grown back. It's back to its usual shape. This thing is a walking disaster, but it's not much of a mystery why when considering its titles. Did the large centipede notice me? It lifted its head. Our eyes met. The large centipede opens its large mouth and rattles its teeth. Oh, seems like it's fairly agitated. It's close enough that I can hear that unpleasant igijijijijiji noise it makes. That time where you got your head stuck in the ant hole is entirely your own fault. I did nothing wrong at all. You have no reason to get mad at me. I won't be able to move freely in the air if that centipede uses its beam, so I quickly descend towards the ground and land. It was a fast landing, so the sand scattered a little.
Gua!
I turn my head towards the direction of the large centipede and point with my chin. The large centipede still seems to remember me. I guess it holds strong grudges. Humans are its favorite dish, but it looks like I'm his top priority. If I have the ball rabbit and a dofu go in a separate direction, it's unlikely he will chase them. The ball rabbit nods and heads in the opposite direction while pulling a dofu with its ears. Will one person be enough to keep them safe? I'm getting increasingly anxious the more I watch. Well, I should worry about myself first. I rush in the opposite direction from where the other two are heading so that the large centipede will follow after me. Since there's a big hill up ahead, I could hide there if there's enough distance between us. If it can't pinpoint my location, then it can't hit me with its heat ray. I don't actually have to watch from this far, but the range on that beam is strange. If that centipede could fly, then I'm sure it would be possible for its ray to hit a target as far as 1 kilometer away.